Expectations change, but slowly. But they do change. And you see shifting expectations. And that's what happens in our society. It's all about expectations. And that's why behaviors, what you can do and what you're expected to do, it's all mentality, it's all expectations. And then there's the question of schools. There's the fact that schools are largely, and even primarily, although they're supposed to be, presumably they're these educational centers of teaching, centers of learning, of skills and knowledge. Really what they are underneath that veneer, that's the veneer. Underneath the veneer, what they actually are is indoctrination centers. That's what's going on in schools, indoctrination. Now the indoctrination changes a little bit as society's expectations change. And this indoctrination, but the thing is that this indoctrination that goes on in the schools, and elsewhere, but primarily in the schools, or largely in the schools, that looks nice out. This indoctrination is what builds up expectations. Children learn in school what is expected of them. What is expected of them and what they are supposed to expect. And they come out of that going around with these sets of expectations, which is the thing that you just can't get over. You can't get past that. If you're trying to say something that doesn't fit with those expectations, then you're never going to get anywhere because there's too much weight of public opinion against you. And that's what goes on, is indoctrination and expectations. And then the expectations are shifted. And then you have to keep up. You have to keep up with the new set of expectations. And if you don't keep up, if you're left behind with an outdated set of expectations, with an outdated set of expectations, then you're screwed. So here's what they do. You go to children. Children go to school, and the first set of expectations that they learn is they're told, here's a piece of cloth. See that piece of cloth? Now, children, I want you to look up at that piece of cloth and recite this vow. So you vow loyalty to this piece of cloth. There's a whole little spiel that the kids are supposed to memorize and repeat and act all serious about, and know that there's serious penalties if you fail to play that game. I vow my loyalty to this piece of cloth. And to the democracy that the piece of cloth is flying for. A country. A theocracy. Transparent. With lots of good stuff like freedom and equality and all that good stuff. Amen. So you indoctrinate kids to worship a piece of cloth. And the other things that kids are indoctrinated into, it's all bullshit. I mean, these days kids are indoctrinated into honoring homosexuality. It didn't used to be that way. 50 years ago, whatever kids were indoctrinated into, it wasn't homosexuality. But these days, it is. These days, kids go to school, and they are indoctrinated. They are brought up to believe in this belief system that says homosexuality is a good and important and wonderful thing, and anybody who criticizes it is a bad person. That's what they're brought up with, and you can see them. You can see them expressing it, saying, "Oh, you've been successfully indoctrinated." The thing about indoctrination is that those people who are most successfully, most easily indoctrinated can be indoctrinated. It doesn't really matter what it is. Those who are easily indoctrinated are easily indoctrinated about anything. And what it is that they're supposedly actually being indoctrinated about is not very relevant. Just like people are being hypnotized. People who are easily hypnotized are going to be easily hypnotized no matter what the premise is. Those people who are not easily hypnotized are also not easily indoctrinated. And so, the people who are most easily indoctrinated in one set of beliefs are those the same people, for the most part, who would be most easily indoctrinated into the opposite set of beliefs. They're going to go along with whatever set of expectations is presented to them. And that's a fact. And it makes their belief systems not seem very genuine to me, when they could easily, just as easily, be convinced to be against whatever they're for, or to be for whatever they're against. And this is how it shifts, constantly shifting sets of expectations. And the other thing, okay, what Arthur Schopenhauer said, let's see, 150 years ago at least, Arthur Schopenhauer said all truth must pass through 3 stages. And by that he meant all official truth. First it's ridiculed, then it's violently opposed, and then it's finally accepted as being self-evident. And what that is about is expectations. It's about shifting expectations. He really summed it up in that statement. Truth, or official truth. Official truth is the official expectations, and expectations are constantly shifting and changing, and this is coinciding with, it's part of the shifting. Basically, official truth is society's expectations, and society constantly changes and shifts its expectations. So, what is considered officially true? What is considered officially true is society's expectations, and society changes what is considered officially true. It changes its expectations. So, if you go against society's expectations, if you go against official truth, you will be ridiculed. But if it continues, if it picks up membership, if your alternate set of expectations, or if your alternate view of truth goes against the established expectations, but you pick up membership of people that are actually thinking maybe you've got something, well, then it starts to become violently opposed, because the majority of society is still going along with the established expectations. And it's only when the numbers of people who are willing to go against the established expectations starts to pass 50%, starts to exceed the number of people who are sticking with the established expectations, when the new perception exceeds the numbers of people sticking with the old perception, the old expectations, then perception changes. Official truth changes. And then then the new truth becomes the official truth. And then the whole process begins all over again, because you've established the official truth. So there you go, indoctrination, expectations, and official truth.